The warm breeze carried whispers of the Bodhi tree as the Buddha spoke. His voice reflected calmness and wisdom. "You seek answers," Buddha began, his tone gentle, addressing the disciples seated before him. "Acceptance transforms suffering into fertile wisdom." Ananda, the young monk, looked troubled. "Master, I struggle to embrace suffering when it seems unbearable," he confessed, his eyes searching for hope. The Buddha picked up a lotus flower from the pond nearby and held it before the gathering. Its purity radiated. "This lotus," the Buddha said, holding it with reverence, "blooms in mud, untouched by the murk that nurtured it. Life mirrors this lotus," he continued. "Suffering is the mud from which wisdom and compassion bloom. Do not fear its depth." A moment of silence passed. Ananda's furrowed brow softened as he gazed at the flower's serene beauty. "Let me tell you a story," Buddha began, his tone even softer, drawing their attention deeper into his presence. Kisa Gautami was a mother whose grief tore her world apart. Her only child, her joy, had passed away suddenly. Her tears fell relentlessly. Her cries echoed through her village. The forest mirrored his inner turmoil, with tangled roots tripping his steps and thorns tearing his flesh. His intentions bore suffering as a poisoned seed bears bitter fruit. A ripple of understanding moved through the disciples as they visualized the merchant's struggle, its meaning clear and profound. In the depths of despair, the Buddha continued. The merchant met an old monk who offered neither wealth nor comfort, only wisdom. The leaves above swayed gently, creating shifting patterns of light and shadow on the ground, mirroring the duality within life. The monk said, "Your suffering arises not from the forest but from your intention to take more than you need." The Buddha smiled softly, as if sharing in the monk's wisdom that transcended time and place. Realizing the truth of these words, the merchant cast away his greed like one discards a broken vessel. Acceptance of impermanence unlocked her door to peace. The disciples nodded solemnly. Ananda's gaze lingered on the lotus, its roots submerged in mud, thriving despite its origin. Radical acceptance is not resignation, Buddha clarified, his voice steady, resonating with depth. It is embracing what is. Suffering is universal. From it arises wisdom, interconnectedness, and compassion. This is the way of the lotus, he concluded. Meditation, the Buddha said, is the fertile soil where the seed of right intention can grow without the weeds of distraction. The surrounding grove seemed to breathe with life, as if nature itself bore witness to the wisdom unfolding beneath the Bodhi tree. Ananda closed his eyes, his thoughts settling, his spirit embracing the message of transformation through acceptance and interconnectedness. The evening deepened, the Bodhi tree's rustle merging with the disciples' breaths, carrying the wisdom of radical acceptance onward. Simplify your desires, the Buddha said, as one carries only essential provisions on a long journey to avoid unnecessary burden. The disciple's face relaxed, his worries dissolving like morning mist under the warmth of the sun. As the words reached his heart, the Buddha sat among his disciples, radiating calm wisdom and presence. A troubled man approached the Buddha, his garments dusty and his face creased with worry and exhaustion. Master, the man began, his voice heavy with doubt, I am tormented by desires that leave me feeling empty. The Buddha extended his alms bowl to the man and spoke softly, hold this bowl as one add to it. The man obeyed, watching closely as the Buddha placed stones into the bowl, filling it gradually to the brim. Master, the bowl is full now, the man remarked, sensing the lesson unfolding before him with growing curiosity. The Buddha gently placed another stone into the already full bowl, causing the stones to spill out onto the ground. Do you see what happens when we overflow the bowl? The Buddha asked, his voice steady and filled with compassion. The grove echoed softly with the chirping of crickets. as dusk's light enveloped the gathering, painting the scene in tranquil hues. Choosing his path, the Buddha continued. The traveler faced a dilemma. One trail promised ease and comfort, the other difficulty and uncertainty. He took the bowl and emptied it, leaving it clean and ready to hold more nourishment for the coming lessons. A mind emptied of clinging and greed can receive the blessings of the present moment. Unclouded by yearning, the Buddha said. The man asked, "How do I empty my mind, Master, when desires seem to cling like shadows to my soul?" The Buddha replied, "It begins with seeing desires for what they are, fleeting clouds across the eternal sky within you. As clouds pass and fade, so too do desires," he explained. "They hold no power unless we grasp them tightly." The Buddha held the now empty bowl before the man once more, inviting reflection on the emptiness as a canvas for truth. You are not your desires, nor your attachments, the Buddha said. You are the spaciousness that remains when they are released. The disciples listened intently, their hearts resonating with the metaphor of the bowl and the wisdom it held. The troubled man said, "I fear that emptiness, Master. It feels hollow and unnerving, like standing on the edge of a cliff." The Buddha nodded solemnly, acknowledging the fear without judgment, allowing it to exist without resistance. Emptiness is not a void to be feared, the Buddha explained. It is the fullness of potential, waiting to be realized. He gestured to the sky above, vast and infinite, carrying the whispers of winds and the flight of birds. The sky does not cling to clouds, yet it welcomes them and lets them go, the Buddha said softly. He continued, Your mind can be like the sky, accepting and releasing without losing its essence or becoming tainted. The man asked, "But how do I let go, Master, when my hands seem glued to what I hold?" "Letting go is not an act of rejection," the Buddha replied. "It is the gentle release of resistance and attachment." The Buddha closed his eyes momentarily, inviting the man and disciples to join in a moment of silent introspection. He opened his eyes and said, "The path to liberation is woven with threads of mindfulness, compassion, and radical acceptance." Acceptance does not mean resignation, the Buddha added. It means seeing things as they are, without distortion or denial. The man watched the Buddha pour water into the empty bowl, watching it fill with nourishment that flowed freely. Emptying your mind allows space for wisdom to enter, the Buddha said. And wisdom is the light that dispels darkness, the disciples murmured softly, their hearts stirred by the simple yet profound truths that the Buddha illuminated before them. The man bowed deeply, his worries beginning to dissolve like morning mist under the gentle rays of the sun. "I will strive to empty my bowl, Master," the man said. "I will open my mind to the present moment." The Buddha smiled, his presence affirming the man's resolve and the unfolding of understanding within his heart. The lesson lingered in the air, carried by the wind, touching each disciple with its boundless grace. Another day, another seed planted in the fertile soil of minds seeking clarity and peace. Another lesson given. Another day, another gathering under the Bodhi tree. The Buddha sat in serene silence, his presence comforting all who approached. A young monk named Rahula came forward, his eyes filled with turmoil and his posture weighed down by unspoken burdens. "Master," Rahula began hesitantly, his voice trembling, "I am consumed by guilt for past mistakes. How can I forgive myself?" The Buddha listened patiently, his gaze soft yet penetrating, as if seeing beyond Rahula's words to the core of his struggle. The Buddha took a small mirror from his pouch and held it before Rahula, allowing him to see his reflection. "What do you see in this mirror, Rahula?" the Buddha asked, his voice steady, offering space for contemplation. Rahula looked into the mirror and replied, "I see myself, but I feel the weight of my errors staring back at me." The Buddha smeared the surface of the mirror with clay, obscuring the reflection, and asked again, "And now, what do you see?" Rahula hesitated, then replied, "I see only the dirt. Master, my reflection is gone." Hidden beneath the clay, the Buddha poured water over the mirror, washing away the clay until the surface was clear once more. "What now?" he asked. Rahula stared at the mirror, his reflection reappearing, and said quietly, "My image is restored. The dirt is gone." The Buddha explained, "This mirror represents your true nature, Rahula. Mistakes may cloud it, but its essence remains unchanged and pure." Radical acceptance begins with recognizing that our intrinsic worth is never diminished by errors or external judgments, the Buddha continued. The tree bore fruit, sweet and plentiful, nourishing not only her but all who came near it, the Buddha said. A bird fluttered down from the tree's canopy, landing softly near the group, as if drawn by the power of truth. Her intention, grounded in kindness, created a ripple, her small actions feeding many lives and radiating compassion across the land. The Buddha's gaze swept over his disciples, observing the light of understanding taking root within each of their hearts. The Buddha gestured to the flowing river nearby, its water gliding effortlessly over rocks and roots without clinging or resistance. Like the river flows, so must your guilt be allowed to pass, the Buddha said. It is not yours to keep. The disciples watched intently, their own hearts reflecting on the wisdom that the Buddha offered to Rahula in his time of need. Rahula said, "I fear that without guilt, I may forget my mistakes and repeat them. How can I ensure I learn?" "Guilt is not the teacher," the Buddha replied. The disciples nodded, their hearts resonating with the truth of the Buddha's words, their minds rippling with clarity and peace. Attachment, the Buddha said, chains the mind, but when freed, intention flows like water, nourishing all it touches. Let your reflection in the mirror remind you of your potential to grow and evolve. Despite past mistakes, the Buddha said, radical acceptance does not condone wrongdoing. The Buddha continued, it acknowledges truth and fosters the wisdom to change and improve. Rahula knelt before the Buddha, his heart lightened, as if the heavy vines of guilt had loosened their grip at last. "Master," Rahula said, "I will strive to clear my mirror and allow its light to shine without fear or self-condemnation." The Buddha smiled, his silent presence affirming Rahula's commitment to the path of acceptance and forgiveness. The lesson lingered in the minds of the disciples, each reflecting on their own mirrors and the clarity they sought within. Another day, another reminder that the path to liberation begins with embracing the truth of one's unbroken and untarnished nature. The Buddha remained seated, an embodiment of wisdom, radiating the essence of the teachings shared in the presence of his followers. As the night enveloped the grove, the stars above seemed to mirror the infinite truths unfolding within the disciples' hearts. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.